Namaste students. Khusro video. I, JVN Dr. Naren Singh Sekhawat, Assistant Professor, Department of Salyatantra, Faculty of Ayurvedic Science, Jyoti Vidyapeeth, Mansansri, Jaipur. In previous classes, we discussed about some disease of urethra. In, in consequence, today we will discuss about urethral injury. Classification. Depending on site of rupture. Classification depending on site of rupture of the membranous urethra, rupture of the bulbous urethra, depending on circumference of the urethral wall involved. Second, depending on circumference of the urethral wall involved, complete and incomplete. Third, depending on the thickness of the urethra involved, total and partial. Rupture of membranous urethra or prostatic urethra means posterior urethra. Causes it is usually associated with the pelvic fracture, commonly due to road traffic accidents. Injury can also occurring during instrumentation, calculus passage, and catheterization. In prolonged labor due to long-standing pressure on the urethra by fetal head. Prostate is attached to pubis by puboprostatic ligament, and disruption of puboprostatic ligament with complete rupture of urethra can lead to floating prostate. This is called Vermeulen sign. Injury can lead to incomplete rupture of urethra and may be associated with extraperitoneal rupture of bladder. Clinical features: blood in blood in axonmeters, failure or difficulty in passing urine, extravasation of urine or scrotum, perineum and abdominal wall, shock with pallor, tachycardia, hypotension. Shock with pallor, tachycardia, hypotension. Features of associated injury like head injury, thorax, and or abdominal organs which take top priorities in initial phases of management. On rectal examination, prostate may be felt high or may not be palpable at all. Signifies floating prostate. Investigations: X-ray pelvis to see for fracture. Ultrasound abdomen to see pelvis and other injury. Ureterogram is done to see the site and type of tear, often reserved to do at later stage. Treatment: the shock and associated injury are treated. In floating prostate, as the rupture is complete, bladder is opened from above, a metal bogie is passed from above through the bladder, and one more metal bogie is passed from below through urethra, and both are manipulated so as to meet each other. Lower bogie is negotiated along the upper one and so into the bladder. Red rubber catheter is tied to the tip of the lower bogie, which has already entered into the bladder. And lower bogie is pulled out per urethral catheter tied to it. It will pass through urethra from above, to which Foley catheter is tied and pulled up so as to keep it in position. Bladder is closed with a SPC using Maliport catheter, railroad. In complete rupture, two approaches. First approach is proposed by Mitchell. Do not pass catheter from below as it may further damage the urethra and also may damage sphincter mechanism and so may cause incontinence. Later here SPC is done using Maliport catheter. After 3 to 6 weeks an ureterogram is done. Using endoscope or along with open method, Foley's catheter is passed often after dilatation. Second approach advocated by Blandy. Single attempt to pass a small soft catheter per urethra generally may lead into the bladder, which will be kept in situ to maintain the continuity. If this fails, SPC is done. On second day in operation theatre, bladder is opened from above and flexible cystoscope is passed from below, and using this catheter is passed from below. Bladder is closed with ASPC. If present with complete rupture present later, then it is managed once a stricture forms. Accordingly, as stricture urethra. After 3 months until then, patient may require SPC. Other measures: antibiotics, blood fluid replacement, treatment to other injuries, complications, urinary incontinence, impotence, stricture urethra infection. Penetrating injury in the rest of the part we'll discuss in next class. So, student, this is all about this is the some part of injury to the kidney, injury to the urethra. Okay, student, this session is powered by digital version 2.0 Jyoti Vidya 2 months in Jaipur. I hope you are satisfied with this session. If you have any doubts and queries, please mention in comment box. I will resolve it soon. Thank you, students. Namaste, students. Kusro video. I, JV and Dr. Naren Singh Segat, Assistant Professor, Department of Salyatantra, Faculty of Ayurvedic Science, Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University, Jaipur. In previous classes, we discussed about anatomy of liver and disorders of liver. In today's class, we will discuss about portal hypertension. In this diagram, you can see the hepatic portal circulation. Heart pumped blood into abdominal aorta and proper aorta hepatic artery to liver, liver to hepatic veins by inferior vein drain to left atrium of right atrium of liver. This is the hepatic circulation. As you can see, uh, splenic vein and superior mesenteric veins drain blood into hepatic portal vein and it drain into liver. Yes, students. Sustained elevation of portal pressure more than 12 mm of Hg is called portal hypertension. Normal range of portal pressure is 8 to 12 mm of Hg. A rise in portal pressure stimulates portal systemic circulation. Portal vein carries 75% of blood flow to liver with all nutrients to maintain its integrity and give 50% oxygen supply to liver. 25% of hepatic blood flow given remaining 50% of oxygen supply to liver. Portal hypertension causes suspensory portosystemic venous collateral information, altered intrahepatic circulation, and increased splenic blood flow. High pressure portal blood is diverted via coronary, short gastric, and esophageal veins into azygous veins. There is increased portal resistance and increased portal blood flow. Increased resistance may be pre-sinusoidal, sinusoidal, and post-sinusoidal. Uh, These are the causes of pre-sinusoidal, extrahepatic and intrahepatic. Extrahepatic portal vein, splenic vein thrombosis, intrahepatic schistosomiasis and sarcoidosis. Sinusoidal causes cirrhosis, hematochromosis, Wilson disease, congenital hepatic fibrosis. Fourth sinusoidal is Budd-Chiari syndrome, congestive heart failure, veno-occlusive disease. Also. Causes of causes of portal hypertension. First, prehepatic. These are the prehepatic cause. B is hepatic. These causes mentioned in the hepatic and post-hepatic causes are these. Sides of porta systematic polytron, as you can see, lower end of the esophagus between left gastric and short gastric veins with azygos. Umbilicus between paraumbilical vein and anterior abdominal vein, resulting in caput medusa. Retroperitoneum, bare area of liver, lower end of the rectum. These are the sides of porta systemic collateral. This is the porta systemic collaterals. As you can see in the diagram, this one is one, two, three, and bare area of liver also. Okay, students. Photo showing caput medusa. This is a photo medusa. Presentation means clinical features. Triodoportal hypertension for esophageal varix, splenomegaly, and ascites. These are the common and main triodo portal hypertension. Jaundice features of encephalopathy, recurrent infection, coagulopathy, hepatorenal syndromes. Investigations: liver function test, ultrasound, ultrafetoprotein, MELD scoring. This is a patient with ascites with portal hypertension. Doppler imaging, HVPG, hepatic venous pressure gradient, splintography. Now management. For portal hypertension, first general measures anemia due to corrected to be corrected. Anemia to be corrected. Nutrition supplementation, injection vitamin K, 10 mg IM for 5 days. Specific measures. Treatment of esophageal varix, prevention of fatigue encephalopathy, treatment of ascites, measure of reduced portal pressure, surgery port a systemic stent, non-selective and selective. Transjugular intrahepatic port systematic tips. This is the transjugular hepatic port systemic stent are typically placed by an interventional radiologist under fluoroscope guidance. Access to liver is gained, as the name transjugular suggests, via internal jugular vein in the neck. Once access to the jugular vein is confirmed, a guide wire and introducer seat are typically placed to facilitate the shunt placement. This enables the interventional radiologist to gain access to the patient's hepatic vein by traveling from superior vena cava into the inferior vena cava and finally the hepatic vein. Once the catheter is in hepatic vein, a gauge pressure is obtained to calculate the pressure gradient in the liver. Following this, carbon dioxide is injected to the locate the portal vein. Then a special needle known as calpinto is advanced through the liver parenchyma to connect the hepatic vein to the large portal vein near the center of liver. The channel of the shunt is next created by inflating an angioplasty balloon within the liver along with the tract created by the needle. The shunt is complex by placing a special mesh tube known as stent and endograft to maintain the tract between the higher pressure portal vein and the lower pressure hepatic vein. After the procedure, fluoroscopy images are made to show placement. Pressure in the portal vein and vena cava after measure. Drug to reduce the portal pressure like propranol, nedolol, isosorbidide, liver transplant. Final treatment is liver transplant. This pic is showing the tips trans Infradics tips process. Okay, students. This session is powered by Digital Session 2.0 Jyoti Vidyapeeth One City. Hope you are satisfied with this digital session. If you have any doubts or queries, please mention in comment box. I will resolve it soon. Thank you, students.